Okay, let me see. There's no way it stands up here. Oh shit, we're all good. Alright, cool. Yeah, welcome to the channel. My name is Michael Knight. Let's get into it. So I've actually not really got necessarily any talking point for this video. It's just gonna be me speaking, okay? So if you've clicked on this video, okay, and you can see me speaking, yeah, for those of you who don't know, my name is Michael Knight, and yeah, this is me. Pretty raw video this is gonna be. Just me speaking because I am the topic. Okay, no brand is gonna define me. I speak from the fucking mind, from the soul, from the heart. This is me. This is who I am. I'm currently at work, right? Pretty chill at the moment. What's the time? It's just gone 10:30. So I'm pretty sure I should have a little bit of time here to make this video. But yeah, I just want to talk about how there's quite obviously an attack on masculinity as a whole. And even when I use the term masculinity, I feel like there's a large group of people who will watch this video and think, masculinity, oh, that's like, there's like a negative sort of, you know, connotation attached to it. And that should not be the case, you know. And something I just want to touch on very briefly is, you get a lot of people talking about men this, men that. I truly believe men, and the true good definition of what a man is very scarce. You see a lot of women who will talk about what experiences they've had with so-called men are actually false. These are boys that they're dealing with. They're dealing with boys who have aged. You know, you have not reached masculine, you know, manhood. You've not reached it yet, okay? And I want that not to be conflated between a true and actual man and just a boy who has aged, okay? A lot of you as a man, let me speak to the men, you know, you've not reached a level where you've killed the boy. You know, you're still shy, you're a timid person, you're afraid to say what's really on your mind. You're afraid to be who you want to be. You're afraid to step on toes if you need to. Or if your toes are stepped on, you're afraid of, you know, standing up and saying, yo, you know, you can't speak to me this way. This is not how I'd like to be treated. You know, and I want this channel to be a place where, you know, people will come and learn something, be able to look inwards and say, you know what, this guy, he's right. You know, he's saying something about me that I believe I can use in my own life. You know, and it's true at the end of the day. Okay, but yeah, you know, why is there an attack on masculinity though? Why? Well, to be a man is to be undoubtedly you. Okay, what you want to do is what you do, and if you say no, then it's a no. No means no, you understand? And if you are developing or you're creating or leading a society into a certain direction, and you have men in that society, you're gonna want the best interests of those men, okay? Because if tomorrow they decide they don't want to follow you anymore, they don't want you as their leader, you've got a big problem on your hands, okay? Because we make up more of the population. Okay, there are many more of us in number than those who lead us, right? And it's for that reason that, like, if we're looking at today, our society that we're in right now, why would there not be an attack on masculinity? Okay, because if you have less men as a number, if there are a lesser amount of men in the population, in the society, it's going to be easier to sway us, or the whole people, the population as a general. It's going to be a lot easier to sway them into the wrong direction, or in the direction that they choose for us, you see. And this is obviously a strategic thing that has been done over so many years. You know, you talk about democracy in a country like the UK, which I currently reside in. Democracy, you know, basically meaning, you know, we're led by the people choose which dictatorship we fall under and stuff like that. And really, it's like, out of the choices, you know, we're still being led astray. This isn't necessarily the choices that we have made, if that makes sense. You know, we're given a choice, but out of what, 5? Is that really a choice? You know, little things like that. But yeah. So anyway, this is a channel essentially where, you know, I want to see guys being themselves, improving themselves, because I believe as a young man, especially in 2026, right, the best thing you can do is to go down a path of self-actualization, okay, and improving exactly what it means to be you, looking for and finding a destination that you want to reach in life, okay, and working on what you're going to do right now in order to get there, okay, from point A to point B, okay, the point A to point B principle, I suppose you could say, okay. Now, the in-between, right, if you think of it as like a line, I might even do a little diagram thing here. It depends on how much time I have or what the editing is saying, okay. I'm sure you can imagine one. Just imagine an Alex Hormozy style, you know, where the screen goes like kind of blurred, and then you just get anyway, right, you got A and you got B over here with a line in between, okay. I want you to look at this line in between, okay, as a mysterious, sort of mystical kind of blurred line. You're not gonna know what's gonna happen in between. You might have an idea, okay, yeah, this is obviously gonna happen. You know, I'm obviously gonna need an LLC if I need to build a business one day, you know, stuff like that. But you're not gonna know the ins and outs. Things will happen in between. Things will happen on the way, on this journey to where you wanna go, that you're not gonna necessarily be ready for, that you're not gonna foresee. Some of these things will be to your benefit, and you won't know at the time. Some of these things will negatively affect you, but these are stepping stones you need to go over so that you learn from these things and you don't make them again and again and again, because this will actually affect whether you're able to reach your destination in the first place, okay? These are small things that you need to think about if you want to get to a certain place in life, right? And you get a lot of young people who are thinking to themselves, and they're like, oh, and they get so caught up with this. They end up spending so many years of their lives. You know, you turn 28, 29, 34, 35, 40, next thing you know, you're 50. And because you've been so preoccupied with the idea of just, I don't know what I'm gonna do with my life. I don't know what I'm gonna spend my time on earth doing. I don't know what I'm gonna do here. And the issue with that is, you're looking at it in a completely wrong way, okay? You're looking at it in a completely wrong way. You know, the best thing you can do is pick a destination. Very easy, okay? Because if you don't have a destination already that you can just think of, that you want to, you know, accomplish, or a place you want to go, just think about the ones you love. For me, a big thing that pushes me is one day I'm gonna have a child. I'm gonna have a little me running around and just living, you know. I have little babies, family members in my own life right now, and I look at them and I'm like, this is beautiful. This is purity in its finest form, human purity in its finest form. You know, little children. It's an amazing sight. You know, and I'm gonna have one of those one day, and I can't wait. I've looked forward to that for the rest of my life, for the longest time. You know, and that is something so precious, and it drives me today. You know, a lot of the decisions, a lot of the things that I do because I know eventually I'm gonna have a son, and he's gonna be 10 years old one day, and he's gonna you know, he's gonna see this video, for example, you know, and yeah, as you can see, this is something that, you know, it's in the back of my mind. It pushes me. But anyway, you need to find your destination. You know, who do you want to be? Where? What are you going to be doing when you get there? And why? You know, obviously your why will be attached to what you want to do. But that is obviously, there's two parts, and then you need to figure out what you're doing now. This is the best way to find your purpose. This is the best way to find what is gonna fulfill you in life, okay? Because once you've got that destination there, and you're living in accordance to the destination, you're gonna enjoy the journey, okay? A lot of people are in a negative state of mind, especially in the UK. I'm not gonna get into too much detail about that right now, okay? But let's just take, for example, my colleagues at work, okay? Now, obviously, you know, it is what it is. But I don't know what it is about the UK, okay? But a lot of people are against you wanting more for yourself, okay? Wanting more for yourself, wanting more than the next guy. I don't even want to be in that area mentally, okay? I don't even want to think about that mentally, but it's something that is very, it can hold you back a lot. And you might be in an area of your life as well where a lot of people around you don't want to see you grow and excel. So you have to be worried about that. Good morning, Phil. I am very well. I'm actually just gonna get a chair.
There's no desperate rush.
Yeah.
You can take your time.
No worries. I'm currently making a video, and I am just finishing up with it.
Why is all this money on it?
Yeah, that would be my
It's yours,
answer.
isn't it?
Yeah.
You carry on with your work.
Of course. Yeah, you can help yourself when you're ready.
What's that?
The kettle is finished.
Oh, the coffee. Right.
Yeah.
Have one of these.
Of
before you
course.
go any further.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Some guy slop. Football. But yeah, so that's why, you know, someone like me, I'm always happy. I'm always satisfied with every single day I live and the things that I do. And the reason is because I know everything I'm doing right now, I'm doing, and it's in correlation to the place I want to be tomorrow. Does that make sense? When I'm in the gym and I'm working hard, okay, and I'm developing my physique, and I'm eating right, I'm cooking, you guys see on my, you know, and I'm sleeping right. You know, now that's not all the time. Sometimes I'm not sleeping right because of work. You know, this week I've been doing night shifts. I do it, and whether I feel good or maybe not so good at the same time, I do it, and I'm under the understanding and the impression that, you know what, it's all worth it. It doesn't matter, it's all worth it, because I know where it's gonna lead me tomorrow. You know, and I believe that's part of being a man, is being able to go through a situation that isn't of the most satisfaction for you right now, but you're able to make that sacrifice for a bigger cause, for a bigger purpose. And not enough people have that big thing in their life, okay? And we've already established what that should be for you, which is the destination. You get me? What are you destined for? You know, when you're 90 and you're on that deathbed, what have you accomplished? What have you said? But yeah, sorry about that, the video cut out. But yeah, but what can you sit down eventually and say, I was proud of, that I did, that I said I would do, and I fulfilled it, and it was carried out. You know, that's something that you should take great pride in. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Thanks for watching, and yeah, you already know what to do. A couple buttons, just click them, and I'm out.